For more on this, I want to bring in Maria Popova. She's an associate professor of political science at McGill University. She joins us live in Montreal. Maria, thanks for taking the time.
Sure.
Do you think this represents a major shift in how the Trump administration, specifically Donald Trump himself, is dealing with Russia's war on Ukraine?
I think it's too early to say that it's an actual shift in actions. It certainly sounds like a shift in the way that he's talking about it, but we also know that he tends to channel the positions of the last person he has spoken to, and he has last spoken to the NATO Secretary General. So I think so far the actions of the Trump administration have not been helpful to Ukraine at all. He stopped the Biden committed aid a couple of times and had to restart it only after significant outcry from European allies, from Ukraine, of course, and also because it's not a popular move with the American public, which is overwhelmingly on Ukraine's side. So we're seeing another shift in rhetoric, but whether it's going to be an actual shift in actions, I think it remains to be seen.
Well, let's talk about what the president says is a new deal for NATO to buy American weapons to give to Ukraine to fight off Russia's war on Ukraine. What do you make of that deal?
That, of course, would be great to make this happen. It's very important for Ukraine to receive Western weapons in order to be able to defend itself and to have a chance at winning this war. It's important, though, to keep in mind that he is not giving the weapons. He is planning to sell American weapons, even though, of course, the U.S. has a ginormous military budget and actually could very easily afford to bankroll Ukraine's defense. So yes, it's a good step, no doubt, but it is not full-on support for Ukraine. Of course, we remember the Biden administration was sending the weapons from the American budget.
But let me ask you this, Maria, whether it's not a donation, it's actually, selling it to NATO countries, Canada included, and apparently Canada is on board with all of this, and European countries, and then Ukraine gets it. Does this help Ukraine in its war to fend off the Russian invasion?
Absolutely. If Ukraine receives full military backing and all the weapons that it is asking for, it will have a very good chance of pushing the Russian invaders off Ukrainian territory. We know that for the last 3.5 years, the Ukrainian government has constantly tried to advocate for itself, to ask for more and more weapons in order to have a really good fighting chance. And they received moderate aid from the Biden administration, but the more aid, the better.
What do you think is going on? Because it is interesting to hear, Donald Trump in the beginning, we heard him say to Vladimir Zelensky, the president, it takes two to tango. And, talking about his good relationship with Vladimir Putin. He sounded, at least in terms of what he had to say, very different, that they have nice phone conversations. But then the Russians bomb Kyiv and bomb other Ukrainian cities. And Donald Trump seems to be, at least he's saying, that he doesn't like that anymore, that he says one thing and then he does something else.
Indeed. If he went in to this at the beginning of his second term, a little bit naive about the whole situation, sort of thinking this is very easily solved. If Russia is given something, it will stop. Let's pressure Ukraine to give in something and broker a compromise. Now, 5 months in, I think it is becoming increasingly clear to him that Putin is not willing to compromise, to budge even 1 inch. because in every single conversation, Putin has emphasized that he wants to solve the root cause of the war. That's what he refers to. And what that means is de facto ending Ukrainian sovereignty. He's made it very clear that he's not willing to freeze the situation as it is and get sort of the territory that he has gotten so far. He wants the whole country, political control over Ukraine. So over these 5 months, many conversations, maybe it is starting to get to Trump that a midway solution is not possible because Russia is the obstacle to it.
Let me ask you then finally about the other piece to all of this, and that is that there will be tariffs, 100% tariffs on Russia, maybe even tariffs on those that buy Russian oil, for instance, or other products, if in 50 days there isn't some kind of ceasefire. What do you make of that threat?
Unfortunately, I think the threat is not super credible coming from Trump right now, because he already gave several 2-week deadlines with similar language. Granted, today there was a little more meat to it, a little more detail with the secondary sanctions and the fact that the bill is already waiting in the wings in Congress, so to speak. So there's a bit more clarity on it, but 50 days is a very long time. And so far, he gave multiple 2-week deadlines and then did not follow through. So I think right now, Putin is probably slightly concerned, but definitely not overly concerned. And I absolutely do not think that Putin will be concerned enough to actually compromise within those 50 days.
Maria, always good to get your insight. Thank you. Maria Popova is an associate professor of political science at McGill University.